I'm getting everything started on my end, and we should be where we should be at right now. Let me see here. There we go. All right. It is now straight up top of the hour on WSAN radio. We got my man, the myth, the legend that swore he's going to swim across the Pacific to get here. No, I just said that. He got tired for he got to Tokyo Bay. Got my man right here, Mr. Joseph Lee with Impact Hour and Constantly Service. Before we get started, I want to let everybody know, please go to our YouTube page at WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe and hit the notification button. Please go ahead and do that. We're trying to build this page up because we got over 250 episodes of all different interviews on there that you're going to find some of them interesting. And you're going to laugh at some of them too, because that's just how it is. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. How you doing, Mr. Joseph Lee?
I'm doing good. No complaints. No complaints. Yeah, you can see, from the Okinawan background here that it's a beautiful day here. I can relate to the heat and humidity. We're probably getting close to 90 already, and it's at 10 o'clock in the
Oh,
morning here. So that's just how it is, But the water's cool. The environment's beautiful, so we just roll, and the air conditioning works great.
oh,
So
see.
that's all that matters,
Yeah, you got to
in
have
those
that air.
situations. But
Yep.
yeah, but good, glad to be here. We had a little bit of a glitch last week,
Yeah.
a little disconnect. Craig is now on vacation, but wants to send his best, and no hard feelings. Obviously, we'll get him back on. 'Cause that's what was supposed to have happened while I was
Yeah.
recovering from my little medical procedure. But we roll on. That's what we do.
Yeah.
But I'm prepared today, hopefully, to share my screen so we can talk about one of the topics that I wanted to bring up. Just something that I'm concerned about
Yeah.
in terms of what I'm noticing in terms of trends. But what do you want to get into today
Well,
first? Before I don't know if we had any questions. I've been away for a week or two.
no, I didn't. I just said that I offered, and Joseph, no, I offered to fly over there and do that medical procedure, and he turned me down.
Well, I needed more than a string and a screwdriver this time.
Oh, okay.
So I know you can do wonders, being the mechanical genius you are,
Oh,
and though I profess to be the $1 million man, I needed to have a surgeon this time.
okay.
So
All
maybe
right.
next time,
All right. That
but
no,
this
no,
time
no,
I
no.
needed
I'm good with all that. Yeah, I'm good. You good? Now I
okay,
did. You should be set up to share the screen. I got that all set up
okay,
already. It should be set up for that. It was one little
okay,
button I had to do, so I did it, and let's see what happens. But no, last week, we went through uh, with Miss Harris, Kamala.
no, awesome.
Yeah, we went, but we talked about that a little bit last week, but it got surprisingly better with her VP pick. And then
Yeah,
some people are elated. They are so happy. Yes, yes, yes. They say they haven't seen a movement like this going on since Barack Obama was running for president. And that's what they're comparing it to. But on the other side, they claim that they cheated. Huh? They question
yeah.
um, Walt's his military deal. They questioning that. I said, no, you can't question all of that when your guy had bone spurs. Allegedly, it didn't go. Don't go there on that one. Leave that one alone because
Yeah.
you messing up when you go to the military doing that.
Well, I think, from what I've, read and seen and paying attention to, uh, you know, desperate people do desperate things. I think they had their way paved, with Biden being the president all the way, they thought, to the White House. And I'm not even completely sure that they would have won with Biden, even in the state that he had, because I was listening to a political scientist. My undergrad was political science, so I listened to actually political scientists when they analyzing this stuff. And I kind of leave the analysts alone, but just kind of look at people that know the research and know how our government really works and looks at data and research, which is something that people really need to learn how to synthesize, because all research is not good research. It
Yeah.
depends on the pool. So anybody that knows how to do research knows that you can basically get a research project to come up with any result that you want, depending on where you tested at,
Yeah.
the pool of people. But I kind of look at respected research sites and whatnot. There was a professor who said that, Biden really had a lot stronger chance than people expected because he had a lot of the incumbent keys to the White House, meaning that he broke it down in terms of was predicting that he's predicted every president since like the 80s, early 80s or whatnot. And he said that, Biden had the incumbency key, he had the competency key because of, the connections that he has and the respect of world leaders versus, Trump. And there's a few other things that people would try to debate. But if you look at the evidence, you look at, his ability to, to have the history of working with politics and understanding how Washington works, he had a lot going for himself. Now, cognitively, obviously, the man was, 80 plus years old. So, he's having some cognitive issues. But see, now the thing is, Trump is the old person now.
Yeah.
And what they're scared of is everything that he was saying about Biden now is being said about him because all the gaffes and all the things that Trump used to do, and a lot of times the Republican Party was like, look at them, look at them, look at them. Now everybody can say, oh well, yeah, now look at you. You got the old guy up there. You've got the guy that is not possibly fit to be president based on not just his competency intellectually, but now we've got to look at the other things too, the court cases and the felonies and all the other stuff. So overnight, he went from the guy that may be cognitively better, arguably, to now the person that's obviously a cognitive liability. And Camilla, you can say what you want. She's was a previous prosecutor, and I've heard people say, she had some unfavorable prosecution history. She's had this, she's had that. Look, she's an African American and I think Asian American woman. So let's look at the demographics of that and who she's going to be able to get to the polls just based on her ethnicity. So then Trump made the horrible mistake that he always does of questioning her ethnicity.
Yes.
He's barking up the wrong tree there because unfortunately for him, I believe Miss Kamala went to Morehouse College. Now, if you know anything about Morehouse, you can check her card right there. If you want to say when did she become, I think it was some ridiculous comment we said where he didn't know that she was black. That's because he didn't want to see her as black. But I'm pretty sure when she was walking around Morehouse College, she was seeing herself as African American. I doubt very seriously you could go to a HBCU and not consider yourself African American or a minority because it is a minority based institution, number one. Number two, the race baiting type of arguments and foolishness, he's drawn for straws. He's got to, because what now has been a liability before for Kamala is now an asset. She's been pretty, quiet. They tried to blame the border on her, saying that she's was the border czar and failed horribly. But you don't have to go too far in the history to see who claimed all Kamala really have to do is say, well, wait a minute, you saying I failed at the border, but didn't you say the Mexican president was supposed to build a wall and pay for it? You're that guy, right? That said that. So if you had done your job when you were president, I wouldn't have had to do the job that you said I failed at. So even when they try to attack her, if she, goes at it the right way, she can put that nail in the coffin of that. So there's really a lot that Trump is going to try to do because he's desperate, and he knows if he doesn't get into the White House, he's probably going into jail because he's not going to be able to sway things the way that he may want to, the Republican Party may want to. But you know what? Sooner or later, this thing's going to wrap up anyway. I know we hear some planes in the background. It's coming to my mic. I don't know if you hear it, but hey,
No, we
you know,
don't hear it,
that's
so we're good.
oh good. Well, we'll just keep on moving. We'll just keep on moving. But so you know, the thing is, I think they're desperate, man. I mean, you know, that's what I see. And I don't want to, as we've been saying on the show, this is a mental health slash politics show. Um, we don't want to get too high and excited with this change, and we don't want to get too low with when things don't seem to go our way with the politics. Um, just be aware of what's going
Yeah,
on. And then I love the fact that, you know, Trump made the comment about the black jobs because we all know what our job is come election day, which is to vote, you know, so that I think is everybody's job now. Um, I think Kamala's definitely been a breath of fresh air into the Democratic Party. I think that she's changed the narrative and the conversation. And I'll tell you one thing, I remember when Obama was running for president, and he mastered the social media world, which definitely helped him with the younger demographic. And I see Kamala doing something very similar with these Zooms, right? So
yes,
these Zooms are raising a ton of money. I mean, record-breaking numbers. Shout out to the Divine Nine that is showing up for Kamala. The AKAs, I think, raising $50 million in like a half an hour, and the different Divine organizations, the Kappas, my brothers, putting money together and raising a significant amount of money and still pushing and supporting. And then, of course, the other organizations, the Alphas, the Qs, all the organizations. That's one of the things about the Divine Nine is that we will come together and support a noble cause that benefits our people. And that is definitely something that I'm excited to see with Kamala. And that is something I think we need to do to bring all of our organizations together. And we talked about this before. We said that with Trump and the Project 2025 and all that, just like when Barack Obama woke up some of the old demons of racism and all that, when you have 2025 and the racist, organizations rising up, you wake up some of our older institutions and on the minority side. So the Divine Nine, the NAACP, all those civil rights organizations, it's time to wake up, shake the dust off, and get to work, and get those pipelines, the Urban League. My grandfather was president in Grand Rapids. Shout out to Grand Rapids, Michigan. The brothers over there, the Kappas in Grand Rapids Alumni Chapter, just all over the country. We need to stand up now. Now, if you don't stand up now, you might as well just sit down for good. This is the time, to
yes,
stand up and say, you might have a difference in politics or whatever, but we know what time it is, just like they knew what time it is, right? They knew what time it is. That's why Trump is still relevant in the conversation because certain folks felt that their entitlements were being taken away. We talked
yep,
about this. The greed, fear, and phobia, right? That
right.
psychosis of greed, fear, and phobia. We talked about the cult mentality, right? So we talked about that's mental health right there. That's a psychosis issue. When you think that a man that has never really supported the community, never really supported um, people working class, they're going to suddenly be the champion for you, you're delusional. You're delusional. Trump does not know the first thing about what middle class Americans go through on a day-to-day basis when he's never been middle class. Trump had millions of dollars by the time he was in his early 20s. But as a teenager, his dad was changing things around so that and putting money in creating opportunities, which I'm not, mad about what he did. I'm just trying to figure out why people are so upset about LeBron James trying to get his son in the NBA when they voted. Some of those same people were voting for a man who got all his money from his dad.
He was born.
As a child, as a teenager, his dad changed the laws and had him working for the company, making millions of dollars, and he hadn't gone to school, had barely graduated from high school, but he's making millions of dollars because his dad created positions for him to give him that money, right? So he never had an opportunity to build something up from the ground. He just played around with the money that he inherited,
Yep,
right? So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a man who always had access to money, always had access to wealth, trying to protect his interests and snow everybody else. And that's what he's been successful at. My question is, how do people keep falling for it? Except that they see something that they see in themselves, which is their pigmentation. That's really all it is, and their situation of wanting to have things stay kind of the same and disgruntled with the way things are. Listen, that's government. You know, as black folk, we have for hundreds of years not see things go the way we wanted it to go. But we still vote, we still get out here, we still rise to the top and pretty much everything that we do, be it sports, politics, education, you name it, you know, entertainment, whatever, we still rise to the top. We still get played because we're
Yeah.
not in those higher levels of ownership. But that's changing, and I think that's what's scaring a lot of people is the landscape is changing. But I just want to caution people to understand something. If you know anything about politics, either society will evolve or it will die. Some of these old, refried, dried up traditional views that we've had, they're dying because some of those institutions are dying. So now they're trying to, you know, hold on to things that have died. Okay? The view of the Constitution and the Second Amendment and all that stuff, look, you know, we're literally killing ourselves to hold on to some antiquated view of the Second Amendment. I mean, we've been talking about that so much, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. But if you really think that you holding on to an AR or M16 is protecting your freedom, you're delusional. Because even the police department has the ability to overwhelm you, much less the military. And you are now the enemy of you know, because of who you're allowing to have access to these weapons. You're not locking them up. Kids are grabbing them, shooting up schools, shooting up the community. You know, one of the things that is a well-known fact here in Japan is that we can enjoy ourselves. We can be out here in the middle of the night walking around. Kids can go to school. Seniors can walk around and not worry about getting shot or mugged or whatever. I can't even, since I've been here, I've never even heard of a shooting, except for once, I think before I got here, somebody had a homemade gun and there was some type of political situation. But how many shootings has there been in a year
Yeah.
throughout the United States? And the Second Amendment, in our view, we're so free to think ignorantly about things that are killing us and not applying common sense to society. So we need a wake up call. And I think Kamala and the Democratic Party, we've got a lot of things in there that are going to help evolve the country. You know, look at the people that are coming in. Instead of looking at these folks that are coming across the border as criminals, okay, yeah, there's definitely going to be some criminals that are coming across the border, but we got our own criminals right here. We got issues right here. We also got some brilliant people coming across that border. We should know that because majority of the people in the United States are immigrants. If you're not a Native American, you're an immigrant.
Yeah.
So you know we got to rethink some things and start thinking rationally, not irrationally. And yes, we got some folks that we need to tighten up on the border, but we have the means to do that. But we got to get on the same page and not fall victim to that mindset of greed, fear, and phobia. You know, I'm not so scared of my neighbor. You know, I remember in Grand Rapids, Michigan, growing up in a neighborhood that we had broke the red line. Now, people that don't know about redlining, look it up. You got some homework assignment, but my grandparents, and we talked about this before, the triplets, Mr. Adams, Mr. James, you know, these folks broke the red line in Grand Rapids. So we were considered the immigrants. We were considered the ones that were going to, you know, change the lifestyle. People were so upset. My cousin just came to visit me from New York. It reminded me of the fight that certain folks, you know, I'll say it, they were white folks that did not want black folks living in their neighborhood. They viewed their neighborhood. And my grandparents and those folks I just named, they had to fight to develop that neighborhood. Now, because of that, I was breaking that red line. It gave opportunities to multiple families and now generations to build wealth, to have a perspective of the world, and opportunities that we wouldn't have had. What's wrong with that? There wouldn't be the impact counselings where I'm providing counseling services all over the world.
Yeah.
All that. If I didn't have that exposure, that experience, being able to navigate and learn that, all the other folks that came out of there, we've got engineers, we got professional football players that have come out of that neighborhood. But it's because we broke that red line. Now, would you not say that these folks are Americans? If you're not, shame on you, because they're veterans. I'm a veteran, served my country during the time of war. Some of the folks that are criticizing never raised their right hand to defend against enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
But you're complaining because you're scared of things changing. Things have to change for them to evolve and get better. Because right now, the status quo is killing us, literally killing us. Look at China. They're not staying the same. Look at North Korea. They're not staying the same. Look at Iran. They're not staying the same.
Exactly.
And guess who's knocking at the door? Now you can sit there and be scared, or sit there and think that you need to be worried about who's coming across the border. You need to be worried about who's sailing across the seas and preparing for war.
Mm-hmm.
China has put a date by I think it's 2042. They have said they're going to be the #1 superpower in the world, taking over the place that the United States has had previously. And you see the axis that's supposed to replace NATO in their mind, which is Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. They are supposed to take the place of the NATO. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
So mess around and allow other infighting to create, like that movie that's out there right now called Civil War, to come about. Now, if anybody want to it's on Netflix. I know a lot of people got Netflix and watching all this interesting stuff. Take a look at Civil War, and you really think about, what could happen in the United States if we allow infighting to continue to happen. They don't get on the same page and realize, like we did at 9/11, that the real enemy is
right here.
The organizations right here
Yeah.
and overseas that are trying to cause factions and division amongst us. So that's getting your mind right. I'm already past the election. We got to start thinking past the election and how we're going to heal mentally so we can deal with each other and try to push ourselves forward and with a new vision of what America is going to be like, which is going to be inclusive, economically, global in our reach and perspective and ideas, and not xenophobic. We cannot be that, because the world isn't that. We are connected right now through the internet and all kind of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, it's a benefit. It's a benefit to some of the things that we have, but it's also a curse if you are trying to just hold on to your little circle and not looking at all the ideas and things around you. That's how you end up getting destroyed, because the world is moving on without you. And there's some dangerous threats out here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now we might, and I'm gonna tell you, be careful. Be careful with the mindset. So a lot more is on the ballot than people realize. A lot more is on the ballot than people realize. And I know some people think that they got the answers, but there's some people, man, that they weren't really smart in school, but now they want to run the country. They weren't even paying attention in government. Don't even understand why there's a serious problem with the Supreme Court being compromised. They don't understand our checks and balances, and they want to get everybody in power to create a one-sided perspective. They don't understand that our whole magic of our system was based on checks and balances.
And they're taking them away. They want to take them away.
Separation of powers.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to take it away. So then we become an authoritarian style of government. Those styles of government are failing. Nobody's there to check the bad ideas.
Yeah. You think
So
about
again, that's it.
There's another movie besides Civil War. I don't know if you looked at it. It's called Don't Look Up.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, now
I've seen
that almost coincides what's going on today on how
It
things
depends
are
on how. It
changing.
definitely depends on how you look at it. Don't
Right.
look up. I got another one. I got another one that messes you up at first, and you don't think it relates to our current situation. But I remember when it came out, and in the movie it clicked. And I don't know if people have seen this or thought about it, but it's called The Purge.
Yes.
Now, if you watch The Purge and watch it from an entertainment standpoint, you're like, wow, this is so far fetched. And then if you start thinking about it in another sense, like is the purge already going on right now? This scared the mess out of you because the purge is kind of happening right now. There's already areas in the United States the police don't really go to, and at a certain time, certain people take over. Look at Flint, Michigan. Think about it. I had to call it like I see it. In a city that big, look how many police officers are there in that city. Look at how the people live, the way the windows are, and all that at night. If you call the police, they might not even get there till the next day
Mm.
for an emergency situation
Yeah.
or later on in the week. At that time, is now not a crime, but it's a crime scene.
See. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the purge is already going on in some places, and if certain folks get their way, that's it's a very realistic scenario and situation.
Mm.
So we got to start really thinking things through. I'm very, even though I'm in Japan, I'm still very much connected to the United States. Still have homes in the United States. Still planning on coming back to the United States. But I have to see myself as part of a global community. Why should I lock myself or my family or my child, or if we adopt children into just a perspective of just one country when we have a whole world out here? But I am concerned about my home country. I am concerned about the country I came from. I was born in, which is the United States, and I see us making some mistakes that we need to look at other countries like Japan and other places, like some parts in Africa, where there's a more of a community base. And I know people try to say that's socialism. It's not. It's just social.
Yeah.
It's not socialism. It's social.
Social.
I went to the hospital. I just told you, I had surgery. My bill was $183. I had my initial surgery, my initial exams, MRI, ultrasound, blood tests, urinalysis, all that. I paid $60 talking to the specialist. One of the things that we got to figure out is how we can actually be human and humane and help people without bankrupting people when you get sick.
Yes.
We're all going to get sick at some point.
Mm-hmm.
That's how life works. But you shouldn't have to worry about mortgaging your house because you get an illness.
They don't care.
But that's what I'm seeing.
As long as they get the money.
Well, it's a business. Yeah, we got great technology, but let me tell you something. Some things might not be as shiny and new here in Japan, but I would tell you what, I have nothing but the highest regard. I've had surgery twice since I've been here, and I've never had to have surgery in the States except for little minor things, and not even really surgery. But what I would tell you is you can't compare. Let's compare our bills, and you'll see that we need to get a little bit more like some of these other countries in terms of healthcare and lifestyle. It's a reason why Okinawa, Japan has people living here longer than any place in the world. It's the mindset. It's the importance of, what you put your value on. I talked to one of the nurses while I was in the hospital, and of course, everybody tries to network, right? If they think if they think you're living better than they are, and they're supposed to, they think, well, how did you do what you're doing? How do you get to stay in this hospital and get help? Because in their mind, they're like, we might not be able to afford it. The place that they work, and that's something about healthcare. I don't understand that. Why people they have to struggle and may not even be able to stay where they work, and they're the ones working in the hospital anyway. But a lot of the people here, they don't make a lot of money, right? Because look at the yen rate versus the dollar. It's about $100, 100 yen to a dollar, and sometimes like 140, 150, which is great as an American. But I talked to a nurse in our end that was making about $1,000 a month. A month.
But the cost of living is not bad over there either.
Cost of living's not that bad. You can afford to live. Right now in the States, the question is, can you afford to live? If you're going to blame it on the politician, I mean, on the president, you might need to look at the form of government why we allow things to be so expensive. So, and one thing that always caught me is when the government shuts down, guess who continues to get paid?
Congress and senators, and they get their money because it was written in there. They have to be paid in order to go to work.
So where do you think the problem comes from?
Right there in that small group.
That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be careful because they're gonna say, "Oh, that's a Marxist comment." No, that's just a real comment.
And that's nothing they
The
do.
first people, the first people that should lose their income is them.
Mm-hmm. And their
Those are the first folks.
and their health care, so they know how it feels. They don't know.
Yeah, see,
Some of them probably never went grocery shopping. They don't know the price of milk, or let them know what it
listen,
looks like.
well, we know that one person doesn't,
Yeah,
because they said you had to show your ID to get milk. Who
milk.
said that?
Oh, that's
Who
bad.
who
That's
shows
bad.
their ID to get milk?
I don't.
Who in the
Oh,
world
I,
shows their ID? Where are you shopping
yeah.
at?
You sure
Where
your
you got to
ID?
show your
You
ID to
should
get milk?
get liquor, but not milk.
Yeah. Now I get if you're in a military base and you're not in uniform, you got to show your ID to shop on the base. You could have said
Yeah.
that. Okay, I got you. But this fool said. I mean, I'm sorry. Let me retract that fool. I'm trying to be politically correct, but sometimes political ain't correct. So how can I be politically correct when politics ain't correct?
Yeah.
But it's just insane, man. Who we allow to lead us as a people, American people, and why,
Yeah.
and it's blatantly obvious that if it had been a black man, and you got to say it. I know it sounds so repetitive and not even need to be said, but you got to think about it. Imagine if Trump was a black man. Do you really think he would even have a shot at having any of the things that he has right now in terms of politics?
Oh
He
no.
would have been out of this race. It wouldn't have been a conversation. It wouldn't even have been, any party opportunities to lead the party, any of that. So I'm going to tell you something. To me, entitlement is on the ballot. That's what's on the ballot. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna call it like I see it. We deal with reality here. You ask my opinion, but is it real? Entitlement is on the ballot, and that's what has to be voted out in November.
I'm gonna make.
That's the black job.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My prediction is
Uh-oh.
once Harris
Uh-oh.
get into office, you will see a
Mm-hmm.
mass exit of congressmen and senators because some of them knew a lot about January 6th. You're gonna see a lot because they want him to come back so he could pardon them. You're gonna see a mass exit. I will say that and mark this time 8/32 August 7th 2024. I said it.
Okay.
It's gonna be a mass exit, and you're gonna see people that's been there for years gonna get up and get out of there because they know what was going on. They knew it, and
Mm-hmm.
and once that goes ahead and everything takes place, we're gonna say, man, we almost let them take control over everything. That's my prediction. That's what I see was gonna happen.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you something on how that may actually become more of a reality quicker than uh, you, you know, how it can come to fruition. If Kamala gets into the White House, keep an eye on what happens to the Senate and Congress. If there is a blue wave that happens and we get the majority here in the House and the Senate, I can almost guarantee you that's going to happen because nobody has yet, as far as I know, called for an investigation of the congressmen and senators on the involvement with January 6th. And trust and believe that's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming. If we get a Democratic majority in the Senate or the House or whatever, we're going to probably get some investigations there because at that point, Trump is going to be in jail or have served some time, I predict. And a lot of people are saying, oh, no, Trump is not going to serve any time. Keep watching. If he doesn't get into that White House, he's going to end up serving time.
Yeah.
Because I think the Supreme Court just kicked back the case to the state level.
They did. And on his sentencing is
Okay.
coming up September 18th for the 34 counts. And Judge
So he's not going to admit it.
Yeah, and Judge Ketchen went on and moved up his trial to August. Well, she said he doesn't have to be there, but things are going to start August 16th.
Yeah, right before my birthday. So I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna get real interesting. But again, my healthy perspective, because I'm thinking of that question that we were asked last week. How can I deal with the stress and anxiety of looking at all this stuff?
Yeah.
Don't keep focusing and looking at all this stuff. You see things are moving along, right? You know, Biden's now out of the race. So all that stress about Biden being able to handle and deal with all this. And now we didn't know much about Kamala. But now, very quickly, we're finding out that Kamala is a force to be dealt with. Because I don't know anybody that's raised that much money that quickly.
They raised
And
another,
she's coming up with some ingenious.
yeah, they raised another 36 yesterday.
Let me tell you something. There's two things you got to pay attention to about what's going on. Not only is she raising money, she's also raising votes. When she reaches out to all these organizations, so we know we got the Divine Nine, she's reaching out to different businesses. She's also reaching out to different ethnicities. There was a Caucasian Zoom, and they locked it out. So what they're trying to do is overwhelm the Zooms.
Yeah.
Now, when you overwhelm the Zooms, that's information. That's like, you know how when you go by, when iPhones come out and you run out of iPhones, what do you think it does to the desire to get an iPhone? Goes up.
Yep.
So all these folks that can't get on the Zoom, they're like trying to find a way to be connected. I was sitting at home last night, looked, and I got a text from Kamala
Yeah.
on my phone. Guess who else was doing stuff like that? Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
So
I got
it's
one.
on, man.
I got two of them today.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
So I didn't get two. I got the one.
Matter of fact,
nice picture.
Yeah. Did you get my text message about don't answer your email if they say Trump is in jail?
No, I didn't get that one.
Yeah,
I didn't get that one.
I texted
tell the
everybody.
people about that.
It's an
Tell the
email.
people about that.
It's an email going out right now. If you open up your email for that saying Trump is in jail, a virus goes over there and overtakes your computer. And somebody told me about that. I sent it out to everybody. I could have sworn I sent it out to you. Maybe I didn't, but I'm telling you now. But that's what's going on.
You're acting like Glenn now.
No. See, don't mess with Glenn. I'm at.
I gotta mess with my brother. I can mess. I got permission to mess with my brother. Veronica told me I can mess with Glenn.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that as much as I can.
Now you said something earlier. Even though the election is supposed to be for the future, she said it beautiful. Miss Harris, she said it beautiful. Said this is not for today. This is elections for the future of our kids and everything. And with that being said, when you said things is for the future, we need to wake up and smell the coffee because they're going to need a lot of social workers and coaches and psychiatrists. And these people going to go crazy.
Listen, I've already started talking to my team, the Impact, shout out to the Impact Collaboration. Mentorship programs, we're going to be part of my practice in the GPS presentation, working with the youth is going to be in New York now. We're expanding, and part of what happens with my mentorship program is we also try to provide some mental health services and awareness and education. And my team is already getting prepared and prepped for what's going to happen after this election. I've already changed my platform, So you can look for me at Growth Therapy in Texas and Michigan for me personally. I'm starting to open up my calendar, to start setting up clients, and I'll provide that link to you because I'm opening it up to start to have people go through the process. I've already started. I clicked go and already had 6 clients start flowing in, and I haven't even started yet
See, that's what I'm
because we're going to
talking
get
about.
inundated. I think it's going to be more people needing help because again, when people start realizing that they were duped and they were a part of a cult,
Mm-hmm.
and think about how many families have been torn apart because this foolishness and friends and when it all shakes out, we're gonna need a lot of help for a lot of people to kind of get their mind right and to deal with this stuff. So EAPs, which are employment assistance programs, people are going to be dealing with depression, anxiety. I'm not saying this because I want it to happen, but I just know how things work. As a crisis care responder, when I was in the States, that job used to have me running. People have issues and crisis because of these unchecked mental health issues, and that stuff is going to skyrocket too. So part of the reason I talk about, and I think we have a good show here, is we talk about politics, but we also talk about mental health and how it connects, and they definitely connect. Those two things, mental health is affected, especially right now, because of the visceral nature of politics right now, and
Yeah.
and the cult mindset. So we definitely have a lot of issues that need some attention, and that's a good segue to me sharing my screen, talk about what are the
Oh,
things that I'm
okay.
definitely concerned about. So see how I did that, Ron? I'm a professional, man.
Yeah, yeah.
We're professional here
All right.
on WSAN
Go, go,
radio. So let me
go.
try to share my screen.
Okay, let's see if
Hopefully
it
this will work.
works.
All right, let me see here. Desktop one. I'm a little concerned. Oh, I got to do privacy settings. All right, so I may have to um, restart something. So we may
Okay.
have to go offline and come back, but we'll see. Maybe
Go,
not.
go ahead and try it. We are good.
I don't know. Zoom may not be able to record the content of the screen until it's quit. All right, we're going to quit and reopen. So stand by.
Okay.
Everybody go get something to drink real quick or whatever. We're going to try to make this happen.
All right. All right. Joseph Lee will be back. I'm telling you, that is something else. What's going on? So we gotta stay abreast on what's going on around the election time. Because I did say is not gonna get any better. I see things is gonna not. I don't think it's gonna get bad, but we got to be aware of everything that's going on. We just have to. Y'all have to have your mindset um, on what's happening. Always be aware of your surroundings. Like when I was out there in Hawaii, I know I was out there for a vacation, but I was looking around. I'm not lying to you. I was looking around to make sure nothing was going on, nothing strange. Because, if you see it's 100 degrees outside and somebody walking with a long trench coat, something ain't right. Okay? Something's just not right. So you don't want to be that person. But anyway, I'm gonna leave that one alone. So okay, he is coming back. Make sure he's doing everything okay. Yeah, he'll be back here in a few. So mental health is something we need to think about, talk about, and all that. Because he's back.
Well, I don't know yet. I think I'm back.
Okay,
we'll,
yeah, yeah,
we'll
I
see.
hear you.
All right, let me see what we got going on here. Let's see, share screen. All right. I think I'm sharing my screen now. Can you hear me?
Yep, I see. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not on the right screen. There you go.
Okay. Now you see my impact logo, right? Is that what
Yes,
everybody sees?
that's what we see.
Outstanding. Good. All right. So one of the things I noticed lately, and this has been very concerning to me for the past few weeks, and me and my one of my life coaches, the Christian life coach Craig, said we need to probably bring this up, and I agree. Is my timeline on Facebook has been filled with people that are missing. And I wanted to take this platform because we have about 40,000 plus that listen to us, are trying to get to us from our Facebook page being hacked. And shout out to the people working with trying to get that back up and going. But to all the other platforms, I wanted to just kind of put this out. So I'm going to scroll down here. You know, see some of the things I put out there on my page. I like this one right here, but that's just not
Yeah.
it. But if you look at this, here's one, Jessica Holsinger. She's last seen July 25th, 2024. We got, you know, we'll put these faces out here because she's missing. And this is the Arizona Missing Children Task Force. And we've got Craig Washington there. He's putting a message out there from the life coaches. Had a little message about Hiroshima and our credentials here. You get down to the other one. Another person we got in Jacksonville, Florida, Elijah Tolliver, 96 years old, was in a red 2013 Hyundai Elantra. This was near and dear to my heart because my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and you know, he could have very easily ended up, you know, in a situation like this. So, you know, keep an eye out for this gentleman. Hopefully, they'll find him. But I've been seeing so many. We wanted to put some faces right here. Another one, right here. Look at this person, Lonnie, Uribes. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to really try. But Lonnie, and this is her face. This is her vehicle. And she's been missing since August 2nd. You know, after leaving her home in a canyon home in Colton, California. So,
Man.
and there's a picture of me and my sweetheart right there. Down there's Miss Martha Rice. Shout out to her. But then it's just so many. Here's another.
Yeah, I remember that one right
You know,
there.
yeah, come on now. You know, and that's Tania, Taniya. Might be saying that wrong, but you see her beautiful face. We got to get these, you know, put this exposure out here and start working. That's what I'm talking about, working as a community, you know,
Yeah.
and putting these faces out here, getting some help to people. You know, think about this as one of your children. You'd want as much help as possible. Another one, a young man, name is Bryce
Bryce on Townsend.
Towns.
Townsend.
Yeah, and he's I think he's 15 years old, and he's about 6'1". You know, come on now. We gotta find these babies, man. We gotta find these young folks. All right, see the capitalist for Kamala. All right, there we go. We going down here. Now look, here's another one, man. See, you know, let me give her name here. LJ is her initials. That's not her name. What's her name? The LJ. Okay. Let me see if I can get more on this. And that's all we got. All right. So LJ is who she goes by. You see her pretty face. We have got to find these babies, man.
Man.
Look, and then of course, you know, prayers to the family of Miss Massey, Sonia. And then hold on, you got the Texas in color. Everybody get involved with that. You know, reach out and get connected. See what's going on. You see, I'm doing a little cross promotion there.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. You all right?
Yeah. All right, now hold on. Let me get down here. A little message about supporting each other, right? Our brother's success is my success. His success is my success. But let's move on down here. Look, another. Here we go. Again. You know, put the phone number out there.
Wow.
And this Tierica, you know, DJNAAE. It's you know, I don't know about you, but I have never seen this many people missing. Here we go again.
Yeah. That's man.
You know, it's just too many, man. And another one. And you know, and if you notice in there's another one, Kiera Coles. Another picture of Kiera.
Man.
All right.
That's just heartbreaking.
And then You look at Jacqueline McNeil, St. Louis area, and the phone numbers are there as well. If you see any of these children, any of these adults, people that are missing, okay.
All
So
right.
when I started seeing all these, man, I had to, Ashton Harris, 9 years old. So I'll be honest with you, man. When I started seeing all these faces popping up on my timeline, I started thinking of the Atlanta child murders. A lot of you may not be old
Yes.
enough to remember this,
Right.
but I did some research back when I started college on the Atlanta child murders. And those of you that don't know about it, you also type the name Wayne Williams, and you'll see somebody who actually, it was only one person convicted for all of the children killed for the Atlanta child murders. And if you do the research, you'll find that the Georgia Bureau of Investigation suppressed evidence because they didn't want it to evolve into a race riot. And what reason they did that is because the Ku Klux Klan, was supposedly involved in the abduction of a lot of the kids in the Atlanta child murders. And they suppressed that information because they didn't want it to actually turn into a race riot. So
Mm.
with all this going on, and I started seeing this, I couldn't help but wonder if we don't see a resurgence of that foolishness, of that strategy again, and just, basically preying on our children and other adults that are vulnerable.
Right.
Might be something that we need to start looking into and see if there is not a connection. Because just like organizations are trying to get together and fight for justice, we have other organizations that might be fighting for quite the opposite.
Yeah. I'm thinking with this election coming up, I'm a firm believer that all schools ought to be closed.
Well, we need to talk about it. Here's another. See, man, look at this. I'm telling you, I've never seen so many people. I just started resharing every time I see a child that's missing.
Yeah.
Uh, Here's another baby. Grandmother, was putting the child out there. Um, I can't make the name out from the.
Look like Claudia.
Is that what it looks like? I can't make it out. But Claudia Gant, Gandt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But you see her face, and here's the phone number down there. So hopefully that will get out. But look, we're about making real changes here
Yeah.
and doing what we can to help people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this is about. Here's another baby here. You know, I mean, I'm 53 now, so everybody's a baby. If you're under 20, you're a baby to me. So let's see. Man, what's the name? Give me the name. But you see the face here, and then there's the link.
There's a link
That,
probably with all the
so you
information in
can
there.
see. Right, there's a link with all the information, so you can look that up. Another missing teen. It's scaring me, man. And here's another baby
Mm.
and the phone number. So Miss Tina Brown put this out. I can't take it, man. So I just do not feel right. And I think this is the last one I'm showing right now. Um, and this one is Jacine Ellis, and there's a phone number for him. We gotta do what we can. Everybody uses media platforms, every platform you have to help find these young men and young ladies and adults. That's what we can use. That's what I said we got to connect. So since I'm all over here in Okinawa, Japan, we got 40,000 plus listeners and viewers,
You're
get this
right.
information out. I don't know where they are, the sex trafficking, kidnapping, whatever. If you see these faces, do something about it. All these numbers, you know.
Man.
So I don't know how many. I put this one out there a few times. And look at this little guy. And this is Dendria Clark. Her son's missing.
Mm,
So when
mm,
I
mm.
said that, I said, man, we gotta do that. We gotta show these faces.
Right.
I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but whatever I can do, we need to do that. So
Man, that's just crazy. Just
so
crazy all them people missing.
it is, man. And I don't know. I don't have the solution. I don't know why this is going the way it's going, but we got to do something about this, man. This is it would I don't know if this is going to help, but if it can help find somebody, get somebody back to their loved one, then this is worth it. So
Yeah,
I know we might have some other things to talk about today, but I wanted to give time to talk about this and to show this.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's most of the ones. Yeah, here we go. There's another one. Missing person. Kathleen Samin. You know
And she's 55 years old.
exactly.
Man,
So it's not just the
it's
babies,
not the
man.
babies.
It's
They taking.
so what I'm saying. This is we gotta get out here and put these faces out.
Yeah.
Have people look and see what we can find. We can't just wait for things to get better. I put this one
No,
out here a couple times.
no.
So
We have to get out there. We have to let everybody know.
I'm just scrolling these again. All right, so yeah, this one I was trying to find. Madison Tompkins,
Tompkins.
14 years old, last seen June 14th, 2024 at 9:50. So, so you can't tell me that there's not something going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not having it. There's something going on. All of a sudden, all these people start coming up missing, and they all are minorities. So, you can't tell me there's not a correlation or connection. If you try to tell me that, I'm not trying to hear it, and I don't want to wait until 5, 6, 7, 8 years later to start figuring out what the connections are. Let's start putting these faces out here
Yeah.
and use social media to make a difference.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Oh
but hey,
man.
that's all I got today, man. I don't have anything further more important to talk about than trying to get these folks
Okay.
back. And we've talked about politics. We've talked about anything. Is there any questions?
No.
Anybody sent in or anything like that?
No. Our favorite Dr. Veronica M. Brooks.
No, right now.
She's commenting on the things that you're saying. Yes, we have one criminal now with 34 felon counts. So she put in these, and she also said, "Take care of yourself."
Hey, she must be talking to Tip. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. And she better take care of. I know she's gonna take care of my brother. And if he ain't listening, feel free to call Ron and
Yeah.
she can go ahead and kick him like she said she was going to.
I be
So
calling. I be messing with him every day, routine. And I said, Veronica, are you able to run around the house and kick him yet? Not yet, Ron, but I'm getting ready.
I can picture her training to do that.
I
You
gotta
know,
hear that Rocky theme song.
hey, you know it. Hey, I
Yeah.
miss you guys. Love you guys in San Antonio. I miss my folks in Grand Rapids. As soon as I can get things settled, we are moving and shaking here in Okinawa and
Okay.
internationally. So take a look at growth therapy actually on my website, iccsmi.com. We got the team there, and we're going to start seeing links for my practice and opening up to for Texas and for Grand Rapids. So you can maybe say you heard it here on this site.
Yeah.
So we know where people are getting that information from. I've got other marketing tools that are out there. Psychology Today, you can look me up. Growth therapy, you can look me up there. But we're trying to get out here and make a difference, and we're
Yes,
doing that.
sir.
Definitely doing some presentations in school. Shout out to New York, to the Noops up there, to Thomas Anderson. The brothers also escaping me right now. You see, they reached out who wants to get the GPS up there, which is my psychosocial education group. Brother McIntosh up there in New York. We will be putting the GPS up there and various other chapters throughout the country and world. We're looking at maybe doing some GPS presentations here overseas as well. But we got to get out here, man. We got a lot of enemies and forces against our kids. And let me tell you something right now. You can call it what you want to, but part of the GPS presentation is what they call critical race theory. We call history, and we
Yes.
rightly dissect it. And we challenge anybody, just like we do on this show. If you want to challenge or refute our facts,
Bring it
we're here
on.
for it. But
Bring it on.
just understand, Kappas, we graduate. So everybody that you deal with is going to be an expert in their field, and we'll hit you with the facts, not just our opinions, but the facts. All right.
All right.
So, let's get it out there. But I got a neighbor I got to talk to real quick, so I got
Okay.
to head out.
All right, man. You take
All
care,
right.
Joseph.
Your action speaks so loudly, I can't hear a word you're saying.
All
Gotta
right.
go.
You take care.
Bye bye.
All right. All right, everybody. That was Joseph Lee right there on WSAN Radio with this Impact Hour. We hear from Joseph every doggone Wednesday